The stunning Southern Alps of New Zealand hold such a special place in my heart. I'm Annabel Langbein, and from my cabin near Lake Wanaka, I'm going to show you how easy it is to cook fabulous food with the freshest ingredients. Today I'm off to Two Paddocks, an amazing vineyard and orchard owned by Sam Neill. We'll share some choconut slice amongst the pear trees, and right now his saffron field is in full bloom. Then later, everyone's coming back to the cabin to celebrate our harvest. I'm using freshly picked saffron in a spinach risotto. We're also having an easy salad of beet, fennel and goat's cheese drizzled with a balsamic glaze. For the main course, one of the best slow-cooked dishes I know, osso buco with a zesty gremolata topping. For dessert, I'm using some of Sam's pears in a delicious pear and prune custard cream. And to finish, extra special coffees using my homemade coffee liqueur. Good food, good company, and good times. Simple pleasures with the free-range cook. I never like going anywhere empty-handed, and today I'm going to raid the saffron and the pear trees at Two Paddocks, so I thought I'd take along my favourite little chocolate treat. I start with a biscuit base, and I'm using 9 ounces of biscuits, which is about a packet and a half. Whiz those up to a fine crumb. That looks pretty good. Next, I melt 5 ounces of butter and add it to the ground cookies. Give it a whiz. And now, a bit of cocoa. Just a couple of tablespoons. Just spread that mixture out on the tin. Then over the base, sprinkle 1 cup of slivered almonds. A cup of coconut. I like the coarse thread coconut, but fine coconut works as well. And then sprinkle 1 cup of dried cranberries, or you could use raisins. And a cup of chocolate. I just cut up chocolate, but you can use chocolate buttons if you prefer. And if that's not decadent enough, the topping is sweetened condensed milk. I'm just going to drizzle a whole can over the top. And that's it. Now it just goes straight into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. As you might imagine, this is going to taste as good as it looks. Chocolate, sweetened condensed milk, almonds, coconut. That is one decadent treat. With our morning tea all sorted, I'm off to the saffron field at Two Paddocks. You can buy saffron threads at your local supermarket, but right now this spice is ready to be harvested. Picking the flowers is a time-consuming process, but luckily Mike, the vineyard manager, is here to help me out.
As you separate the corollas there, which are the purple leaves, or the flower petals,
Yeah.
what you're exposing is the stigma, which is the three fingers of stigma.
Yep, there we are. Look at that.
And that's the spice there in your hand, yeah. They say about 150,000 flowers to a kg and about 400 hours to process it.
Wow.
So you can see where the price hike runs up.
I remember hearing that saffron growers used to keep saffron underneath their bed because it was the way of storing their fortune,
Right.
under the mattress.
Yeah, when it's worth that much, it makes sense, definitely.
I'm going to use some of the saffron in a creamy risotto, but I'll dry the rest to use through winter. Well, I've been eyeing up the pear trees while I'm here as well, Mike.
Yep.
Do you think I can raid them?
Help yourself. If you can beat the pig to them, then
Now that is one fat pig.
it's pretty big, yeah.
Does he just live on those pears through the autumn?
He's happy under the pear trees. That's his spot for the autumn. He eats all day, then he rests up, and he gets that fat and uncomfortable that his legs stick in the air when he sleeps. Yeah.
I think pears are a really underrated fruit. I love them. But if you have a bad pear experience, it's often because it's hard and dry. The round-shaped varieties will always ripen to a very juicy fruit, whereas the long, skinny pears stay crunchy. After all this picking, Two Paddocks owner Sam Neill has joined us for morning tea. Can I tempt you to some of my famous choco nut slice.
Absolutely, you could. That is lethal, isn't it? How fantastic.
We like lethally fantastic. I always think that when you're working on land, you need lethally fantastic, decadent things like that.
Yeah,
That's great.
So
that white chocolate and chocolate and
sweetened condensed milk.
it's a health bar.
It's a health bar. So Sam, tell me a wee bit about the history of this place.
Well, this was a research station or research farm run by the government. What they were doing here was testing all sorts of crops just to see what would be viable in this area. So that we've got all kinds of things that are still growing here, like the saffron, echinacea. There's all sorts of things that have popped up here. And lavender, of course. We cultivate the lavender still, and we distill that into lavender oil. It's another unprofitable venture that we indulge in here. But yeah, I'm very fond of the sort of history of the place.